Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt-out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today I have a little story about clarity. It's one of the things I hope I help people to achieve, but goodness gracious, there was none of it in our lives yesterday. So my fiancé had been to work in Aberdeen. I live in Leeds, and he'd got the train home. And at about 7:30 last night, I went to pick him up from the train station. And he'd had a very long day, and I was extremely tired. I didn't sleep very well the night before. So by the time we kind of got home, it was after 8 o'clock, and we decided to kind of go up and rest, maybe read for a bit and then go to sleep. So then I hear my fiancé moving about downstairs, and he's like, I can't find my phone. So I was like, oh, right, okay. Now we have this app called 360 Life, I think it's called, or Life 360, something like that. And it's a tracking app that we both have on our phones, not in a stalky way, but mostly in a what shall I put the pasta on way. So I'm usually at home. He's out traveling, not as much these days, but I use it to gauge when to make the tea because I can see when he's coming home, and how it kind of gives me an idea because it uses Google then to check how long he's going to be and when he's going to be home. So we looked at, so as he's ruffling around downstairs looking for his phone, I went on that app and I said, I saw immediately that his phone wasn't at the house, but I only looked very quickly, and I said, your phone's at the station, you've dropped it. So he flung more, put clothes, he was kind of half undressed, put some clothes on, and off he went to the train station. And just as he's leaving the house, I slowed down a bit and looked at the app again and saw that the phone wasn't actually at the train station, but appeared to be in some bushes and not far from the train station. So, but I actually ran down the street in a panic after him, noticed the word panic, and but I didn't catch him. So it's only like 5 minutes down the road, but I then ran to the train station initially with my trainers unfastened, half my makeup off. So yeah, in a panic, I ran to the train station. This story goes on, I'm afraid. So then then I intercepted him coming back from the train station, because obviously he got to the train station and his phone wasn't there. And I said, it's not at the train station. It appears, according to the app, to be in this bush. Now, the app isn't really that accurate. And if I hadn't been when he hadn't been so wound up, and then, of course, there was a lot of thinking around, who does this? Who picks up somebody's phone and throws it in a bush? Lots of thinking around that. And then some people from a house came out and they were like, oh, what are people like? So we were getting more and more and more wound up and upset about it. We spent a long time in the bushes. If you look at Bruce's arms this morning, he's literally like covered in in all sorts of injuries from this bush, because it was all brambles and stuff. Is awful. So we eventually came home because it was getting dark, and we went to bed. And this morning, the plan was that he was going to go with his shears and go try and find the phone in these brambles. And so, but actually, when we woke up this morning, we kind of talked about, we both started Googling how can I find my Samsung phone? And it turns out that both Samsung and Google, once you've got a Google account, they have much more accurate location systems. And so now it looks like we can see it in a house, and we've put a post on our local community Facebook group to see if anybody has handed it in. And then after I've talked and done this, after I've recorded this, we're going to go round to the house and see if the phone is there. So keep your fingers crossed for me. But really, why I'm telling this story is it's really about clarity and not about trying to attain clarity, like some doing some kind of activity to get there, but about being aware of when you're not in it, when you're not in that space of clarity, when you're wound up about something. So we were wound up because there's an £800 phone missing. We're wound up because obviously all the stuff that's on your phone, they're so precious, aren't they? Not really because of the phone, because of all the stuff that's on them. We're wound up because we're tired. We're wound up because we've got quite a lot of thinking about somebody doing something not nice. And I have to be honest, Queen of Calm here, was we were not aware of how wound up we were. Um, and then as when we were less wound up this morning, there was much more clarity about what we could do and what the next course of action might be, etc., etc. So once we know, it's interesting actually, because sometimes we're not going to see it. Like I'm a human being, my fiance is a human being. We got lost in it. We got lost in it last night, totally lost in it, and we didn't realize how much thinking was creating this kind of confused, upset feeling that meant that we couldn't think clearly. And that's the key, is that when your system is busy, it's like, I don't know, I've got better these days at shutting down, although I'm looking up there now and I can see there's quite a few windows open on my computer, but on Google, but I'm quite good now. Finish with that, I'll shut it down and I won't have so many open. But you know what it's like when you've got loads of tabs open, lots of processing trying to happen inside your computer. It starts to slow down. It starts to not quite do what you want it to do. It's not working in a clear way, is it? And that's the thing to know about yourself, that clarity is always available to us. And it almost instantly becomes more available once we know we're not in it. And how do you know you're not in it? Well, you feel awful. I mean, that's pretty much it, really. If you're not thinking clearly, if you are not, if your head is busy and stressed out and anxious and overwhelmed, then and you've got a lot of thinking, then you won't be able to access wisdom, because wisdom is new. It's not any of this old churning around thinking. It's not any of that. It's what's new. It's what's available that's not what I thought of before. Last night we were going round and round in circles, literally in a thorn bush, quite frankly, going round and round in circles, looking at the same app over and over again, and not having the clarity to think, actually, maybe this app's not finding the phone. Maybe there's something more accurate. If we downloaded the more accurate app last night, and all we needed to do was log on to my fiance's Google account on his work phone or my phone, and we could see where his phone is. It appears to be at a house, so watch out. Watch this space. Hopefully there'll be good news about the phone later today. But we just didn't have the clarity to do that because we were so wound up. So what I'm saying today is all of the things I help you with or help you to experience is a rising of your consciousness, a rising in your awareness, so that you start to be much more that you're running this ship a bit more. Like that consciousness is running the ship, not the thinking. You don't want your thinking running the ship. It's like some drunken captain from Captain Pugwash. All the dodgy children's shows are available. But it's like, you don't want some half-baked thing running your ship, and your thinking is that half-baked, not quite present, collection of nonsense from way back. And when you're wound up, you're just regurgitating old thinking, old thinking, old thinking. When you're calmer, you have access to new. You have the clarity to experience new stuff. So that's my crazy story. Watch this space. I will let you know at some point if you're able to catch me on social media somewhere. That hopefully the phone will be found today. Keep your fingers crossed for me. And in the meantime, watch out for those warnings from your body that tell you that you are wound up and not in a space of clarity. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.